As immigrants, a lot of us constantly feel stuck in our professional life and personal life because we're different and have limited opportunities. However, if you pay attention, you will actually find there are a lot of people who are famous, who are immigrants, speaking confidently in a foreign accent. So what is their trick? Why are they different? The difference might be simpler than you think. The gap between you and those successful people is the way you think about things. And we are all able to change the way we think. So today I'm going to introduce 2 mind tricks that changed my life, and I will help you apply it to your life so you can experience success and happiness. Welcome to Immigrant Therapist. I'm Chenxi. I was born and raised in Shanghai and currently living in Nashville. I'm also a trained therapist. Here we dive into conversation of what matters, the struggles, the fears, the barriers, and victories that immigrants experience but rarely talk about openly. We also discuss practical tools that help you navigate these challenges. My goal is to help immigrants transform this difficult journey into something that's deeply meaningful. The most important concept I wish every immigrant know is the growth mindset. I've seen a lot of immigrants got stuck being there for 10-20 years and do not speak English confidently because they believe my English is not good enough. However, there are 2 things. One, neuroscientists now find that our brain is plastic, meaning everyday experience can shape your brain. So even if you are not a child anymore, your brain is still plastic enough to learn another new language. And as long as you expose yourself to people who speak English, then your brain will do the rest of the work. As we get older, the process of learning might be slower, but as long as you constantly stimulate your brain is plastic, so it can change the way it wires. One morning you wake up, you will realize, oh, it's much easier for me to go out and talk to people. I can talk about things in a more fluent way. I have never intentionally sit down in a classroom and learn English after I turned 18. However, my English has improved tremendously in the last 2 years, mostly because of the people I talk to, the career I have, the family member I have. So I'm constantly absorbed in this all-English environment, and this helps my brain to learn the language without me consciously putting into the effort. And you can do it too. You just have to trust the process and build confidence. Start practicing, start listening, start talking to native speaker. You might think that this is a very straightforward concept. The more you're exposed to the English environment, the English get better and your brain starts to pick up more. But what if I'm so scared to talk to native speaker? What can I do? I cannot even overcome the thoughts of have to talk to someone and look dumb in front of them. I would say the scariest part of being an immigrant is finally have the courage to stand in front of native speaker, work with them, talk to them. And how do you get there? It is also a mindset. It is based on how you talk to yourself. The journey as an immigrant is difficult because it requires tremendous courage, unless you're someone who's naturally very extroverted and just enjoy talking to people. But most of us are not. What I learned in the past 3 years that helped me to overcome this anxiety of start talking, start showing up, is the way I talk to myself. Before, when I was nervous, I always have the thought in my mind that, oh my God, I'm gonna mess up. These people do not understand what I'm talking. My English is not good enough. Then I learned this mindset of thinking about everything as a challenge, as a video game, as something fun. When you go into a grocery store, go into a workplace, instead of thinking about it as a chore, it's a task to talk to people, thinking about it as an experiment. Let me ask you, what if you can only be in this foreign country for 24 hours in your entire life? Are you still gonna decide to get stuck at home and not talk to anyone? I think how you show up will be very different. You're going to try to experiment because you know 24 hours later, you're not here anymore. It is just like playing a video game. We experiment things. You can start with something small and you don't have to think about any task as serious. When you think about experimenting, having fun, like kids playing, the challenge will seem to be smaller and not as scary. When we're using the word experiment, we don't link the outcome to our ability. We don't think about, oh, because the person did not understand what I say, that means I'm a bad English speaker. I don't deserve to be here. Instead, we think about, this experiment is not working the way that I want today. What are something I can do to change it? Maybe change the way I talk, maybe slower, maybe change the way I pronounce the word a little bit, or experiment with someone else. So we got new data. And if we are able to think about every day as a new experiment, life will be way more fun and you will find yourself improve, learn, and grow tremendously. Not everyone has this opportunity to experiment in their everyday life. But you, as an immigrant who travels so far away from home, has the courage to leave everything behind and build a new life. This is a perfect opportunity for you to experiment what's it like to be a different environment. This is the same reason we play video game. When we're in a video game, we become a different character. So you can think of it as a role play in a different country. And you're just experimenting to see what is out there, what worked well for me. So next time when you feel like you make a mistake with your language or said something dumb, ask yourself, what is this experiment about? What can I learn from this experiment? And how can I change some of the variable in this experiment so that next time I have a better outcome? It's all about play. Henry David Thoreau said, all good things are wild and free. So how can you be wild and free in your life as an immigrant in this new territory? Think about that. The next concept, I call it the own it mindset. This is from one of my favorite psychotherapists, Irvin Yalom. His work on existential psychotherapist. He talked about the importance of taking responsibility in our life. As immigrants, a lot of time we have less control over our life compared to American citizens. We have a lot of restricting thought of, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. All these thought is putting yourself in a very narrow, small space that prevents you from growing. These are the external situations we cannot change, that's right. However, we can change the way we think about it. We can utilize the thing that we have control over and expand this circle of control as much as possible. So the way I like to think about it is, let's draw a circle. This is everything you have control over. However, as an immigrant, we are looking outside of circle, looking at all these things we do not have control over. Of course, we feel stuck, right? But if you actually looking at the circle and utilizing the resources, the control that you have, and play with these resources, then you are using your strengths, then you are avoiding the disadvantages, and you will see your life in a different light. A small step that I took is just change the way I talk. Instead of saying, I have to, I should, I need to go to work, I tell myself, I want to go to work. And this is the truth, because as an adult, no one is forcing you to go to work, no one is forcing you to go to bed at 11 p.m. You are the one who chooses to do that. Some of you might say, well, I have to go to work because if I don't go to work, then I will get fired and I won't be able to support myself. Well, then you make the conscious decision of supporting yourself. That's why you decide to go to work. No one is kidnapping you to go to work. You can choose to stay in your bed and not showing up in your office today. That is your conscious choice. We cannot start small. Start with every time you notice yourself wanting to say, I have to. And if you're like me, you will realize we do that a lot. I just said to myself today, I have to make this video today. Do I actually have to? No, I don't have to. I want to. And when you change the word from I have to I want to, there is a sense of agency. You can feel that you have control over your decision and you feel responsible for the decision you are making. Now, I want you to think about what are some of the things that you think you have to do. Do you really have to do it? If you are to rewrite it in a way of I choose to do it, why do you choose to do it? What is the purpose behind it? The purpose can be as big as I want to support my dream to become a millionaire. It can also be as small as so that I can have a dessert tonight after dinner. But the important point I want to make is that you want to own your life. And you have to be the one who decide that I'm going to start owning my life today. These three mindset, growth, having fun, own it. These are not just nice concepts. These are the things you can actually incorporate in your life. Once you start to get into the habit of change the way you think, ask yourself, how can I change the way I think into a growth mindset, into an experimenting mindset, into an ownership mindset, and utilize it? Your brain will adapt and it will pick up these mindset easier. So next time when the outcome doesn't meet your expectation, the first thing that comes into your mind is not blaming yourself. Instead, it is, okay, nice try. What can we do to improve? How can we experiment it differently next time? For immigrants especially, these mindsets can change what feels like forced sacrifices and limited choice into meaningful choice and an adventure. Which of these three mindsets resonate with you most? Leave a comment Try adopting one this week and tell us how you experience the shifts. Thank you for watching. The best way to support me is by subscribing and sharing my video with other immigrants who you think will need this help. And I look forward to see you in the next one. Bye.